BluMetric is mission-ready water. BluMetric provides a full range of environmental consulting services supported by bespoke engineering solutions for emergency, self-contained, and permanent water systems, and is always mission-ready with a full range of in-house support. There is no successful mission without water.
Good afternoon. My name is Scott Healy, and I'm coming to you from Halifax, Nova Scotia, and DESEC 2025, brought to you by Gale Forest Winds. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Peter MacKay, who I really don't think really needs an introduction, as he has been a big supporter of DESEC and Atlantic Canada for years in the defense industry. Peter, you've been to a lot of these shows. How do you feel the mood and the attitude with industry at this DESEC 2025 as we get ready for what we hope is going to be a very good couple of years for defense and security?
Well, Scott, firstly, thanks again for having me on. It's great to be with you. We've done this a few times, and I have been to a lot of these DEFSEC gatherings. And look, there's no denying this sense of optimism, even exuberance in some sectors. And that's great. And I think we are going to see increased spending on the part of government, the investment that Canada, quite frankly, and the Canadian Armed Forces need and expect and deserve. The questions around what will those dollar figures look like will be answered soon in the budget. The longer-term spending plan hopefully will accompany that. But there are still some challenges. I think we need to be practical and clear-eyed about how some of this is going to roll out. But there's a sense of urgency. The public, I think, are more aware and more switched on to the geopolitics and the threat environment that's out there. And I think, quite frankly, because of our commitments now to NATO, there is also going to be this push to spend on practical things, and that's already begun. So this is all good news, but I just hope we're not going to see any of these hopes dashed on the altar of government programming, spending, and delay. A little bit of expectation management. Absolutely, and I think that's natural in today's environment. And we have all of these, of course, disruptors that are happening, not the least of which is the American administration, the changes in some of the geopolitics, the ongoing war because of the illegal invasion by Russia and Ukraine, uncertainty in the South China Sea, parts of the Middle East, obviously. These have created an impetus and a sense of urgency for Canada to make investments. And look, we could speak at length about the vulnerability represented by the Arctic and what we haven't been doing in terms of protecting our northern flank.
Yeah, exactly. You've seen both sides. You've been in politics. You've now, worked in industry and in the private sector. What would you like to see the government do on its industrial and defense strategy? If you had one recommendation for them that would be able to coalesce and get industry moving and forward a lot more efficiently in its relationship, not just with the Defense Department, but with the public and the procurement world in a whole.
Well, that's a mouthful. That's not a one thing. That's a multi thing. But look, I would say for starters, I would recommend that several of the government ministers and perhaps the Prime Minister himself dust off the Jenkins report that lays out a lot of the solutions for the protracted procurement process that we've labored under in Canada for a long time. I think they could also trim government and help streamline some of the departments that are interlocking but cross-threaded. Public Works, Industry Canada, the Treasury Board, National Defence, obviously. There is far too much duplication and siloing of some of those departments, and quite frankly, competing mandates within those various departments that make it really difficult to buy big things and to make the necessary investments. And finally, I guess one other statement of the obvious is allow government to work more closely and transparently with Canadian suppliers. We live in an age now where information can be relayed much faster, much more effectively. There should be an online indexing of what the projects are going to be, the bids, a schedule, because what business needs more than anything is certainty. The ability to plan, the ability to bid, the ability to be competitive. We're missing that in Canada right now. Competitiveness and productivity are challenged in many ways.
This show is all about defense, providing the women and men of the Canadian Armed Forces and those that are also on the security side of the ledger with the right equipment to do their jobs. You were a minister. You were a minister of defense, and you were certainly a minister down with the troops. What would you say to those women and men now in uniform as a former minister, as a closing thought to them right now?
Well, keep the faith and know that Canadians love and respect and honor you. That sometimes wanes at various times in our history, but there is no denying they are our best citizens, and they deserve the attention and the appreciation, and more importantly, they deserve the support. And that includes new equipment, that includes pensions, salaries, places where they live and train, where they deploy. And so government is, I think, more than we've seen in the last 10 years now, reorienting to that reality. And so there's hope. There's hope in the air. I'm repeating myself, but I don't want to see those optimistic feelings dashed.
Yeah.
So the delivery is what is important. The delivery. More than words, it's action.
Exactly.
That's what's needed.
Well, listen, I just want to thank Peter MacKay very much. And I think the last few words he had to say are keep the faith, keep moving those yardsticks forward. And we want to thank you again, Peter, very much for coming on Gale Force Wins again.
Thank you,
and
Scott.
thank you.
BluMetric is mission-ready water. BluMetric provides a full range of environmental consulting services supported by bespoke engineering solutions for emergency, self-contained, and permanent water systems, and is always mission-ready with a full range of in-house support. There is no successful mission without water.